The nice thing about YouTube is I can actually see how many people logged in and, well, did not log in, but how many people view, how many views I have, with the video clips. So I can actually gauge, the difficulty of a topic just by looking at it. If I see like 0 views, that means everybody got it, on that particular day. It's not an issue. When I see like 20 views or more, that usually means, well, maybe I should go over that topic again in a different way. So that's really helpful from my perspective. If you guys just go back and watch the tube again. Yep.
Can you access it from here, or do you have to just go through YouTube itself?
It's always going through YouTube, because I don't want to host that many gigabytes on my own server, and I certainly don't have the bandwidth to do it.
Okay.
You should be receiving email messages from me because I add those as news items.
I think I did. I just didn't have time to
Okay.
go through it all.
Yeah, the link is just a link to YouTube. So if I go here,
Okay.
this is a hyperlink.
Okay.
When you click the hyperlink, it brings you to YouTube, and it is a playlist because I can't fit everything into one single clip,
Yeah.
so I have to chop it down to 15-minute segments. If you click play all videos, it will just play one after another one.
Okay.
So unless you already know exactly which clip you want to watch, this is a quick and easy way to start the whole thing, and it will connect one clip to the next.
All right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And I can see how many views of the first part, and of course no one could last until the last part. Only one person could do it. And I have no idea whether that person was even watching it or just click on the start and then go like and sleeping the whole time next to the computer. So anyway, this is something that's kind of interesting. I spotted this last night. Okay, this is an ePad, which obviously is an iPad clone running Android. This particular type, as far as I have researched, they are usually around $110, shipped from China. But this one is $35. Now, sometimes with eBay, they will charge $35 for the item, and then they will charge you like $80 for the shipping, right? But not this time; it's free shipping. So you really only have to pay $35, to get this item. I don't know whether it's a scam or it is, this new eBayer, because you can see there are 0 reviews. This particular seller started existing on the 20th of September, yesterday. Okay, so there's no track record of any kind of this particular seller. So it could be a scam. They just take all the orders, take all the payment, and then just run away with all the money.
Yeah.
But you would think that, if anyone wants to do that, I would sell iPods instead of, Android tablets. Right? I mean, if you think about how many people know about Android tablets as opposed to iPod Touch, this many people know about Android tablets and are semi-interested in Android tablets. This many people know about iPods and want an iPod, right? In terms of popularity and, just how many people know of each product. So I really doubt that this is a scam because if I want to scam someone, I would not use Android tablets, as a means to scam someone. There are better products to choose,
You also
like
take
jewelry
PayPal.
stuff.
You also take PayPal, which says a lot in itself.
You think so?
Plus, it's such a low price point. Why would anyone bother for, he doesn't have that many items available, so.
Well, he has sold 17 right now, so 17
Doesn't say
or
how
23. So 23 now. But but if you think about $35 shipped, okay, I don't think he's making. These people are making any money. So I think they want to build up their reputation quickly on eBay by attracting a lot of deals initially, so they can build up their reviews, here. So I'm just pointing out something that's kind of interesting, how the tablet idea is really taking off, and now the cost of making one is low enough. You guys will start to see more and more of these, pads, around. In other words, the Star Trek, in the next generation, remember everybody is walking around with a pad. I think that day is coming.
Well, Star Trek itself had bigger ones and bulkier ones. The Yeoman's
It's
hat.
about the same. In the next generation, the little pad devices is
Yeah.
really about the same size as a 7-inch tablet like this. So those days are coming. I mean, that Star Trek, Star Trek: The Next Generation is not really quite futuristic enough. If you look at the communicator, talk to somebody, that's already here. If you look at the Bluetooth devices that we use these days, yep.
Have you seen the Microsoft Surface?
So sorry.
Microsoft Surface?
Uh-uh.
Google it. Or go to YouTube.
How do you spell it?
Microsoft Surface.
Surface. Surface. Oh, okay, I see. Like that? So it's basically an interactive desktop.
Yeah.
Yep. And Apple has one too. Microsoft is, I think this time they're copying the idea from Apple. Because Apple has an iDesk or something along that line. It's a big screen, and you can interactively do something with the desktop. But if you guys have a big screen TV, and how much do I pay? Do I have to pay for a 42-inch TV these days? $500. Okay. For $500 plus the cost of a Wiimote, I can make the same thing happen. How much is a Wiimote? The remote control of a Wii, about $30. Okay, so I know this is off topic, and you guys are really anxious about the practice exam on Thursday, but this is something I could not resist. Okay, Wii whiteboard. Okay, and you will say, what? How are these two things related? I just want to show you this video clip. I will let this guy explain it.
Hi, my name is Johnny, and I'm going to show you how to create a cheap electronic whiteboard system using the Nintendo Wii remote. Now, just like my other video on tracking your fingers using the Wiimote, this project is also only going to use the infrared camera built into the front of each controller. Now, this camera is sensitive only to sources of infrared light, which is why it can track things like the Nintendo sensor bar, light bulbs, or candles. So if we want to track pens on an electronic whiteboard, all we have to do is create pens that emit infrared light. My pen is composed of an infrared LED, a push-button switch, and a connection to a power supply, which could easily be a battery. When I push the button, the LED turns on. This is basically an LED flashlight in a pen form factor. If you want to make one for yourself, you just start off with a shell from a non-ink pen, and then glue in your components. Now behind me is a projected image of my computer. Now if I want to interact with that image with my light pens, I have to make sure that the Wii remote can always see the tip of the pen. To do this, I have to put the remote off to the side so I don't block its view when I'm in front of the projected image. I've made this little stand for my remote, but you can use any material you have around the house to prop it up in the right orientation. Now when I put it on the shelf, I have to make sure it's pointed at the screen so we can see the whole area. Now it's important to remember that the remote has a field of view of about 45 degrees. So make sure you're back far enough to see the whole screen, but not too far back, because otherwise you'll lose tracking resolution. Once I connect the remote to the computer over Bluetooth, I can do a standard 4-point touch calibration like I do on most electronic whiteboards. What this does is it maps the camera coordinates to the projector coordinates, and now the cursor will show up wherever my pen is, and I can simulate a mouse and draw in a drawing program or manipulate my windows. One nice thing about using the Wiimote to do this is any surface I can project onto, I can basically turn into an interactive whiteboard. Now what I have here is a projector mounted onto a tripod, which is kind of a generally useful thing to do anyway. And it's now pointing at this tabletop. And the Wiimote is actually attached to the projector, so we can have this top-down view of this display. Again, after I do the 4-point touch calibration, I can now use my pen just like a mouse, and I can interact with my table like it's a multi-thousand-dollar interactive whiteboard. Additionally, because the Wii remote can track up to 4 points simultaneously, if we use 2 pens, this is actually a multi-touch interactive system. If you don't happen to have a projector, you can still use the same technique with a liquid crystal display. We simply mount the Wii remote, point it at our display, and then do our 4-point touch calibration. Now we can essentially turn any liquid crystal display into a multi-touch tablet surface. So that's how, with a Nintendo Remote and some infrared LED light pens, you can create your own really low-cost multi-touch interactive whiteboard system or a multi-touch tablet PC. Now, in truth, the tracking resolution you're going to get off the camera is not going to be as good as one of the commercial products, but it's pretty good and it's much, much cheaper. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to try out the software, you can go to my website and download a copy and try it out for yourself. Thanks for watching.
So there you have it, Microsoft Surface for the cost of a Wiimote. $30. Yes, I think I can spare $30. I actually tried it out, with a whiteboard, like this, and it's actually not bad. The only problem with a whiteboard like this, as opposed to a dedicated touch surface, is when I'm writing here, my own shadow is casting on the image itself. So that was the only problem with a projector, a front projector type of system. If you have a rear projector system, then you won't have that problem. Yep.
There's still another one you can use that last and the presentation to that rear projector.
Yeah, you can use rear projection. Yep. You can also get just one of those bigger screens, rear projection TV, like from Samsung or Sony, and then it will work really well because you now have the image projected from the back. You won't be casting a shadow on it, and it has, as this guy said, it has limited resolution. So it all depends on what you want to do with your light pen. It is good enough to handwrite stuff on the board, but it's not good enough for artwork purposes. So it depends on the application. But it's still kind of amazing what you can do with a Wiimote, because we think of a Wiimote as a game controller and nothing more than that. But in reality, a Wiimote is a very sophisticated, self-contained electronic device. This is only one of the many things you can do with a Wiimote. You can probably use a Wiimote for a lot more than just this. Okay, so are we okay so far? I mean, I'm pretty sure some of you are interested. You can just go to Google and look up Wii whiteboard, in the usual search engine part, and you can locate the free software that you can download, and it will work in Windows, Linux, and Mac OS X. And put a light pen together is really inexpensive too. If you want to buy one, there are products out there. Some people just use regular whiteboard markers, and empty out the content, put in the battery and an LED and the switch, so that works too.
You can buy them for $5.
You can buy them for $5, but I'm also
Walgreens. Yeah, at Walgreens, and they come with 3 batteries.
Like a light pen like this?
Yep.
Really? Go ahead.
I have a question. We talked about free software. Software is such a complicated process and it's so expensive to develop. How do companies able to give away free software?
Well, it has to do with this guy. This guy started it all. Johnny Lee, basically, this is his middle name. So Johnny Lee, started the whole thing, and he wrote the software, as a part of his project at MIT. He was probably researching something far more than just using a whiteboard, but as a byproduct of his project, he figured out how to use a Wiimote, for the purpose of a whiteboard. So since he's not making any money, otherwise, releasing this software for free is not going to hurt his bottom line either. So he just put his software online, and other people who look at his software, also look at it and go like, well, this works okay, but it only works, say, for Windows. I want to make it work for Linux. So other people also chipped in and copied the same approach of doing things, but converting it into a programming language that also works in Linux. And then other people, add some more stuff to it, So it's basically just, it really is a good reflection of the open source mentality. Someone sees something, oh, this is good, it's working up to a certain point, but I can make it better.